This is our book. We're going to start reading it. It's a chapter book, and I will read one chapter a day. It's called Wallace and Grace and the Cupcake Caper. It's by Heather Alexander. She's the author, and it's illustrated by Laura Zarin. Okay? This is a cute little story that is new to me. And the first chapter is called I Spy. And they spell the word I not as saying like I or me, which would be the one letter I, but they spell it like I, like on our face. EYE, which works too because we spy with our little eyes, right? All right, here's our first chapter. I'm going to show you the picture first just because I want you to meet Wallace and Grace. You can see that they're two what? Owls. Yeah. Woohoo! Here they are. Two owls. Okay, and they're good friends, as you might have expected. So, let's get started. Let's play a game, said Wallace. He flew high above the trees. Let's play I Spy, said Grace. And she flew next to him. And Wallace said, I spy with my little eye something blue. What's blue? Grace looked. She looked down. Everything is green and brown. Spring was starting in the great woods, and green leaves green leaves bloomed on brown tree trunks. Remember how in spring the new life comes in the grass and the trees and the plants? And that's what she's looking at. Look and see, Wallace said, and he did a loop-the-loop in the sky. That's it! The sky is blue, said Grace. The sky isn't blue yet. Just saying. Wallace liked to point these things out. Grace sighed. Wallace was right. The sky was still dark. It was very early in the morning. The sky would turn blue later when they were asleep. Because when do owls sleep? In the daytime. Yeah. Wallace and Grace slept in the daytime and they worked at night. Owls do that. Here is Wallace doing a loop-de-loop. Can you see this path? This is how he was flying. A loop-de-loop. If we could fly, which we can't, but if we could, that looks like it'd be fun, right? Well, they're still talking about their game on the next page. Here's a hint, said Wallace. Down, not up. Grace looked down, and she spotted a pink earthworm poking up from the dirt. And she spotted a bird with red wings in a nest. Don't know if you can see this picture very well, but I'll show you. She's looking down and looking for those things I just mentioned. There's a nest, and the worm is pretty tiny, but it's way down here on the ground. Do you give up? Asked Wallace. Grace hated to give up, but she couldn't see anything blue. She just didn't see it. Wallace swooped low, and Grace followed. And there was a teeny tiny blue flower. Wallace was very tricky. Ta-da! Cried Wallace. Grace picked the flower and gave it a long sniff. Ah! Wallace slurped up the pink earthworm. Yummy. That's not what we would say, but he's an owl. Thief! Thief! Someone called. Listen up, cried Wallace. Grace put her wing to her ear. The sound was far off, but owl ears are super good. Thief! Thief! They heard it again. Here they are listening. Here's Grace putting her wing up to her ear. And Wallace, and they're both thinking, what is that coming from? Who's saying thief? Someone needs our help, said Grace. Ee-yoy, cried out Wallace. "Let's go." And Wallace and Grace were best friends. They were also detectives, and they solved mysteries. And I just didn't show you the other half of this page when they're listening. I should have showed you this. Just some more scenery pictures of where they were in the kind of a woodsy area. Okay, so they were also detectives, they were also best friends, and they also solved mysteries. And they ran the Night Owl Detective Agency. Mm. They always found out who done it, which is a kind of an expression people use when they're trying to solve a mystery. They'll say, "Who did this?" But sometimes because of some phrases from the past, they'll say, "Who done it?" Wallace and Grace circled the sky over the great woods. Who was calling? "Down below," called Grace, and they flew to an empty picnic table. "Took you detectives long enough," grumbled Mounty the chipmunk. Oh my goodness, here they were flying down to a picnic table, and there they met up with Mounty the chipmunk. He doesn't look very happy, does he? It's kind of like he's been waiting a long time. Let's see what else he has to say. Well, Mounty was standing on a nearby log, and his little arms were crossed like you saw in the picture. "Do you need our help?" asked Wallace. "I most certainly do," said Monty. "Someone took my cupcake." "Your cupcake?" Grace could go for a cupcake. She thought that sounded pretty good. She liked frosting more than earthworms. I do too. "Are you sure?" "Most certainly. It was right here." Monty pointed inside the hollow log. "And now it's not here. And I know who stole it." "You do?" Wallace sighed. He had been hoping for a mystery. How there wouldn't be any mystery if you already know who stole it. "Sal stole it. Sal is a thief," cried Monty. "Say what?" Sal popped out of his hole. Let's look at this picture so you know what's going on. Here's Monty the angry chipmunk, and Sal peeks out of that hole. What do you think animal he could be living in a hole? Well, he could be a prairie dog. He could be a groundhog. I'm not sure if they say here. Yep. Oh, never mind. It did say groundhog. He popped his head out of his hole and he says, "Say what?" His groundhog fur stuck up on his head. He had a serious case of bedhead. That's when you wake up and your hair is all messed up. "I did not steal anything." "Yes, you did." Little Monty stood nose to nose with Sal. So that's when they're kind of like, he's accusing him of stealing his cupcake that was in this log. And he says, "No, I didn't do that." Monty was fierce, even for a chipmunk. "Whoa, whoa, whoa, everyone calm down." Wallace stepped between them. "Monty, why do you think it was Sal?" asked Grace. Grace was good at asking questions. "Well, right before our winter nap, a boy had a birthday party here." Monty pointed to the picnic table. "There was singing and presents and food. I love parties." "Well, what about the cupcake?" Wallace liked to get to the facts and not keep talking. "A cupcake was left over, so I took it," said Monty. Here he is telling the story to Wallace and Grace and Sal, and they're all listening to him tell the story. So he said after this little picnic birthday party he saw, one cupcake was left over, so he took it. "And I asked for a taste," said Sal. But Monty said no. He put the cupcake inside the log. "I was saving it for my wake-up treat," explained Monty. So he was going to hibernate for the winter, I guess. And when he woke up in the spring, he thought the cupcake would be there. "Well, then what happened?" asked Wallace. "We both went to sleep," said Sal. When I woke up, my cupcake was gone. Monty looked at Sal. Hey, don't look at me. I was asleep too, cried Sal. They were hibernating, Grace told Wallace. Hibernating is a big word for sleeping all winter. Grace loved using big words. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out who's talking here. Just a second. I know all about hibernating, and I also know groundhogs wake up on February 2nd to look for their shadow. Wallace poked Sal. There he is talking to him, and he's like, oh, this is still the chipmunk talking to Wallace. I'm sorry. We don't see him poking anybody here, but they're still talking quite a bit. And when he talks about how when he was sleeping, how they both went to sleep after he put his cupcake in the log, and then it was gone when he woke up. So Wallace poked Sal when he said, hey, weren't you up on Groundhog Day when you come out for a short time every year? You were awake while Monty was asleep. I did wake up. I saw my shadow and I went back to sleep, said Sal. Beginning, middle, and end of story. Thief! Cried Monty again. Here's a picture of him waking up, stretching, and he went right back to bed again. He said, I didn't do anything or eat anything. I just looked to see if I could see my shadow, and I went back to bed. Well, please take my case, Wallace and Grace. Sal folded his groundhog paws together. I need you to prove that I did not steal Monty's cupcake. These detectives are mine, Sal. Monty puffed out his chipmunk cheeks. And I need them to prove that you certainly did steal my cupcake. 2 new cases, cried Wallace. And whose case will we take? Asked Grace. They needed a private partner talk. So they went off together to talk together. See? They're talking. Wallace and Grace. They had to decide what they were going to do about this problem. Grace said, I think Sal did it. He wanted the cupcake, and he had the perfect time to take it while Monty was asleep. I don't think Sal did it. There's no evidence or proof that it was him, Wallace pointed out. We need to investigate, said Grace. We need more facts, said Wallace. And Wallace and Grace will take, Wallace and Grace will take both cases, said Grace. And that is the end of the chapter. Now we're going to take a break and we'll read more tomorrow. So now we know all the characters. We know Wallace and Grace, the owl detective. We know Monty the chipmunk. And we know Sal the groundhog. And we're going to try to find out who stole that delicious looking cupcake. And I'll show you a picture at the beginning of the next chapter where Wallace and Grace are talking to Monty, who still looks angry as he's talking about the about the cupcake that he thinks the groundhog took. And this next chapter is called Eyewitness. An eyewitness is someone that sees something happen, whether it's just something good or something bad. But if they see it happen, they can tell somebody, I witnessed it or I saw it. And this is what happened. And usually that's very helpful for detectives. So stay tuned till tomorrow for chapter 2 called Eyewitness. And I'll see you then. See ya.